All right, we've been paired with Edward I, Edward the First on LeeChess.org. Welcome to Feisty Chess. We're going to play e4, e5. I did that without even thinking. Maybe I should have retried the French defense. But here we go. Let's see where white takes this. Okay, Scotch Game. We need to take. And I'll play what I usually play here, the classical against the Scotch. And he's going with the Potter system, bishop b6. This is dangerous. I think I need to play d6 here. Going by memory here. Yeah, d6 looks good. Might have been able to get away with knight f6 immediately. He's going with queen to e2. What's the idea here? Pushing e5? That doesn't make sense. Queen to e2. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I think the idea, if I remember right, from Victor Bolligan's Black Weapons book on playing black in the open games, the idea is the Scotch hedgehog with bringing the bishop to e6. I think maybe just castling first is good. He's going to play knight d5. We may castle queenside here. Let's just, if we put the question to the bishop, he can take. Okay, I'm starting to see the point of queen e2. Bishop e6, intending to capture this knight on d5, is not really effective because I need to play knight back here after e takes d5. Let's do this. We'll just break the pin by force if we have to. I don't have my window up there with the time limits on it, but I'm still shooting for 10 minutes to have 15 moves in. That looks good at this point. Let's just break that pin. I'm not planning on castling kingside. Could also make it difficult for white to castle kingside with bishop g4 here. Bishop g4, f3, bishop e6. I know bishop d4 is an idea in some of these lines. I like the look of knight d4 here. Knight d4. And I wouldn't mind going for a queen trade at that point. Black seems to have equalized. Knight d4, I'm looking at knight d4, knight takes d4. Bishop takes d4, queen b4 check. Queen d7. Looks fine to me. Maybe couple this idea with bishop e6. Bishop e6. And then the critical move here is knight d5. Then knight d4. Still seems to work, because if he takes the bishop, I just grab his queen. So he needs to trade. Then bishop takes. I don't have queen blocking. I'd have to gambit the pawn at that point. Bishop here. Queen takes. That's not really a gambit, is it? No, it's not. Okay. I also have knight e5 here. That doesn't seem that good. Okay. Let's go with the immediate knight d4. He has to take. I don't see anything better. If he tries to go, say, queen c4, I just go bishop e6 then, right? No, queen c4, Yeah, you've got to keep guarding c2 or take. Alrighty. Queen d2. Interesting. Can I just take? Take on c3. I think I'm just getting that pawn there, am I not? No. No, I'm not. This looks awfully tactical. Bishop e5, bishop takes e5, d takes e5. Queen takes away my castling rights. He castles with check. That's not very good. Bishop c5 or b6? Or I can go c4, c5 immediately. That doesn't seem very good. Alright, bishop back to b6. Knight g4 looks okay. Well, hold on. Let's this bishop go to f4. Let's just threaten a pawn of our own. Might as well. If he tries f3, then knight h4 looks good. I don't think this works for him. Oh, no, of course it does. Okay. I can get my rook on the 4th rank, but then I'm just dropping that pawn. This keeps the bishop in check. I think you got ideas of bishop a5 here. It's looking shaky. I'm going to have to revisit Potter's line in the Scotch. Not happy with the opening here. I got the 15 moves, but I'm a minute and a half down where I should be on time. I'm way down compared to Edward I. Bishop b5 check looks pretty natural. Probably bishop d7. Okay, he's going for that bishop development move. Let's just get developed. If he's really going hard at it, he'll go for e5 here. I think castling is fine. I can get my knight out of the way with some effect. If he goes e5, I got knight h4, sorry, e5. Knight h5 here. Can also just take it. It's getting complicated now. I think I need to take this. I think I do. He's got the ready answer there. Can I take? I'm looking at take on e5, and then I'm down a queen for a rook. Bishop g4. I get an exchange back. And that's it. That's not enough. I could threaten his bishop here. Yeah, let's do that. I'm getting a lot of good activity finally. We both have a lot of good activity, to be honest. But I have a bit of initiative now that I'm on his bishop. Ooh. Lots of things going on here. Things. It's looking wild. Probably he'll play rook takes d8 check. f3, I can play rook takes d1 check. I would think that's good. I've got to imagine that's good. Also got knight h5 here. And if the queen stays on e2, then that seems strengthened a bit. Let's do this. Can't take with the queen. Maybe he'll take with the knight. But that can't be that good. Going with the king. Okay. Not sure that check was the best. Is bishop d4 worth anything here? I don't believe so. Let's just go here. Okay, I can force off a trade. That gives me d3 as a pretty great spot for my bishop. e3, I'm sorry. So knight f4 is the next move here. I'm down a pawn, but that pawn does hold on to those two on the queen side. I wonder if queen h4 is worthwhile. This is maybe better. After takes, I can take with the queen. Maybe I take with the pawn. He has to take, though. I don't know why he's spending so long here. Let's take with the pawn. We've got bishop e3 check in reserve, and if he goes knight to e1, d1, that seems pretty sad, actually. This is a weakening move. Centralizing the queen looks excellent here. Yeah, this can't be very good for him. I don't believe it. Actually, if he blocks with the queen, the bishop check is a really nice shot. It'll be a nice shot however he responds to this. So queen e1, bishop e3 check. Wins the exchange. Knight e1, sorry, knight d1. Same thing. It just wins a piece because he has to go king b1 and then queen check. He wins the exchange, I suppose. He has to go rook takes. Yeah, here we go. Does this win his... This wins his queen? Not quite. But it does win the exchange. It's a neat obstruction tactic. Okay, he is up a pawn and up a bunch of time, but I don't see how... I don't see a plan for him. His knight and his king are kind of paralyzed here. I mean, he can go knight d2. And probably just move my rook someplace else along the d-file, like d6, and try to move my king up into the game. That's a plan. Let's do it. Might as well restrict his knight a little bit. We're not in a rush. Just cut down on his counterplay. If he goes knight... Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, now we can just push. And that should be curtains, right? If my king had been on c8, he'd been taking with check, and that's a very different story. But now that he's not going to take with check, I can just push. Okay. All right. Good game. Edward won. Survived the Scotch Gambit. I did not play the opening well, but as many of my games have shown, it doesn't matter how well you play the opening if you don't keep up your tactical acumen throughout the game. I'm sure that I've played something a bit off here. Let's go back and look at this. Make this a quicker video. So this knight b3 is known as Potter's line. Yeah, the Potter variation. Bishop b6. Knight c3 is the main line. Knight f6. d6. They might be kind of interchangeable. Queen e2. Interesting. It's just the main line. It was very quickly played. I wonder if it's the main idea against knight f6 too. It is. It is. So queen e2. Now knight g to e7 is typically played, but knight f6. Knight f6 is also, let's see, queen e2, and then d6, yeah. So the idea is to set up the Scotch hedgehog, bishop g5, h6, and knight d4. Okay, the knight d4 idea was useful. In the end, bishop h4, just breaking the pin. Bishop e6 does better, however. I wonder if this is the line that my book by Bologan does recommend. I'll have to look at that again. Bishop e6. Let's examine that. I was worried about knight d5, but then we can always just break the pin at this point. And the castle anyway. Wild. White does well in those variations. I'm not sure. The computer likes castling. It says black has a small advantage. I have no idea why. I mean, white's development is sort of slowed by the queen being on e2. But these positions are uncomfortable for me as black. I've been thinking about playing the Scotch game myself. Okay, it does not like knight d4. The computer likes queen e7, immediately. That makes sense. That removes the threat of e5. But I was trying to do the same with this. c5. It wants me to keep that bishop in the middle of the board. And then if knight b5, I guess taking on b2? What if knight b5? Knight takes e4. Oh, of course. Of course, I guess. It looks complicated. Queen back to e2. Pins the knight. Oh, just castle. Right. Nice, useful trick to keep in mind. Okay. c5. Instead, I gave him a 2-pawn advantage by going back to b6, as well as a time advantage. Okay, h4 is the right idea. I think these are thematic ideas in this opening. Rook g8 immediately. Doesn't like queen e2 here. White's got a whole piece up worth of advantage. He maintains this, although material's equal. Doesn't like bishop c4, it likes rook e1. I can see that. I'd need to play something like knight d7. Maybe I can get away with knight g4. My g5 pawn helps a lot because I can maintain a knight solidly on e5. But rook e1 is the better line here. Okay. Bishop c4 throws away some advantage. Bishop d7. Okay. Now that rook to e1 throws away some more advantage. Likes f3. Okay, we're back in regular territory here. Take, rook takes. It likes bishop e6. Sure, yeah, that unleashes the bishop. Bishop e6. Bishop takes e6, check. And then I've got a couple weak pawns here. After e takes, f takes e6. Queen e2. How do I hang on to that pawn? Rook takes d1, knight takes d1, c4. Oh no, queen d7. By counter-targeting his c2, f2 pawn. Instead I went here, which I thought I was feeling good about this, but just bishop takes f7. Basically the computer's telling him don't be afraid of anything like this. Bishop takes g8 is good enough. Giving up the queen. Hard to see this kind of line. I've got those two bishops, but I'm going to lose this pawn. He's got two bishops as well. Queen f8. Likes black a lot here. Black's got the rooks for the queen and an extra pawn. But I've said before that I'd rather have the queen in these kind of positions than the rooks. If kings are at all vulnerable. There's just more tactics to watch out for in these short games. But I did scare white enough into going for that instead. Now it still likes queen f8. Holding on to the material, but I went for this. Okay. Yeah, king takes was a big mistake. f3 is necessary. Well, actually, what about this immediately? This is what I thought would happen. Then f3. Now bishop d7. Yeah, white has an advantage. So him playing f3 immediately at first allowed me to exchange the rooks. And it likes knight takes d1 better here. Now bishop back to h5. Huh. That doesn't look like a good place for the bishop. but king takes. Now I have queen takes b2, and I didn't see this in the game. Very simple. Hanging pawn capture, but this is hanging here. Queen takes b2, f takes g4, queen takes c3. Right, that hits the knight. So I've won the pawn back, and my king is much safer. Let's look at that line. It looks exciting. So I did miss out on this. I don't know why it likes queen f1 here, hitting the knight. Just trading off more minor pieces. Now, opposite color bishops. It's an attacker's game. I'm up a pawn or two here. Bishop e2, queen d4. Rook d8. Yeah, black looks pretty good here. Instead of that, I allowed the king to slide back to c1. Not seeing that. That's a... yeah. I should have done my board vision exercises before playing, as I usually do. So now white is back on top. Up a pawn. Doesn't like that move. Rook e8 trades things off. Can't I just take on g3? Rook e8, knight takes g3. Ah, the threat is queen e6, mate. Queen e6, king b8. Rook takes rook, mate. Okay, knight f4. Likes g takes f4 better than queen. He's still got his edge, but it's really not any more than the pawn that's on the board. A3 doesn't look good to me, but queen here. Yeah, and this just loses to tactics. There's actually a big threat once I play queen b4. He needs to play king b1 to allow himself the a2 escape square. Anything else like this allows this neat little combination to win the exchange. And notice, rooks belong behind passed pawns in general, but look how much my rook just completely shuts out white's king, and even shuts down black's knight to a certain degree. So I didn't want to let that stuff out. I can let his pawns start to roll. Probably king d7 was a better move here, and then no knight moves are allowed. So, but once he moves that knight, yeah, it's curtains. He can take my rook, but I'll just promote next move with a mate. So, and he can try to check. This is maybe the more interesting line. He can try this check. I just slide over, and then he's trying to guard, but I just remove the defender and promote. So, all right, happy ending on that one. I'm back to even, back to 500 now. This is a fun game. So thank you, Edward the First. I'll see you all next time. Stay feisty.